Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So, do you have any parts that you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
I'm a little bit waffly on one that I kind of want to work on, but it feels like the story around it involves other people. And so it feels a little bit dicey as far as something that will be, put out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with a different one, which is the part that is always trying to squeeze something out of a few minutes time. The reason why it's coming up is because right before I logged on 3 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something in me that's always no, don't do that. You have 3 more minutes. You could,
right.
You could do this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
It's no, I don't want to rush back 3 minutes later. 3 minutes isn't enough time to do anything really. Although I'm sure it sometimes is for me, but
yeah.
It's like the clock squeezer, I guess.
Okay. I just want to speak to the other thing about sharing, if we were to talk about other people and and I'm sure I've said this stuff to you, but of course we can always change your name. We can change other people's names. We can not publish things, if you ever want to go someplace in a conversation and just not publish it at all, cut out parts of it. So,
yeah, I'm willing to work on that piece. It feels very, it's like a combination of public and private. It's part of my professional world and a former business partnership and blah, blah. And the way that I face the world in regards to that is very tucked in because it's just appropriate for it to be that way. But my internal situation around it is very, private. And I have people that I can talk to about it, but it stays very protected in a way. So that's why I was maybe not, maybe not the best one.
Okay.
I don't mind the things that are vulnerable from my own personal story or childhood, etc. But this piece is just interesting. So
Okay.
I'm happy to do it if you feel like intrigued by that.
Well, I
also
wouldn't.
happy to go in a different direction.
I mean, I wouldn't base it on my intrigue. I'm happy to get to know any parts. I just want to make sure that offer is always on the table, that I want to focus on doing the work and you know, so that's whatever work you'd like to do.
Okay.
So,
I guess, there's a piece that just says like, no matter how many times James says it's okay, you're still going to feel like that. I'm still going to feel, quote, bad if I'm like, do not, do not put that out. I already felt that way about the first one that we did was like kind of like really, it felt very, it didn't feel like super vulnerable. It just felt like messy and weird, I guess. The second one was absolutely still good and amazing for me. Like on a daily basis, I'm checking in there and it still is like bringing a smile to my face on regular occasions. So nice. In fact, I almost wanted to say, well, before we get into anything, she says hi because like she's like, woo! Like when we were doing the minute-long meditation, I could hear her little voice. Like it was cute. Anyway,
so happy to hear that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, no pressure at all. Just and you know maybe who knows how many times we end up working together. Maybe. Yeah. And considering we haven't published any of our work, you know, maybe it'll feel different later. So yeah,
I would like to do that work. I just, had those reservations about it. And I just told myself like, well, you can do this, on your own or something. But it's an interesting piece that I wouldn't mind poking around with. But like I said, it's like really tied up in sort of forward-facing professionalism and like something that I don't want to in any way. Like, I thought about it a lot today and was like, well, probably no one from that world is ever going to hear this, but there's still this part of me that's like, well, if anybody does, they'll certainly know it's you somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're totally cool with me probably like preemptively saying that I probably wouldn't want to put it out there, I'm happy to do that work.
I am cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to just start talking it?
Wherever feels right for you. If you already know of a part or if it's more of a trailhead.
The part is, so as I said, this is around a former business partnership. The one of the reasons why I had the hesitations is because like I just feel like you kind of have to tell the story to understand it. And part of what I felt really relieved about in getting out of this partnership was this feeling like I don't have to be associated in other people's minds with this person anymore. Like I'm not sort of quietly vouching for the things that this person's putting out there by being professionally kind of lumped in with that person in any way. And that was like one of the most liberating pieces of getting out of it was like, yay, I never have to be associated with this person again. Yeah. And there's not any like strong animosity or, like, ooh, I hate that person. It's just like, yes, I'm free from this link. And so when I think about going to you will be now you will be willingly returning to being like somehow in the same bucket as this person that I was formerly partnered with. And there's just this strong, like, just no, you said, this was what you were so relieved about. And why would you? And I mean, if there's other parts of me that are like, that's not, nobody's going to be like, oh, they're, like they're the same. These people are totally, family. But there's something in me that just won't let me pursue that in any way. It's like, no, because it's just like, there's a wall. There's a big part of, there are parts of me that are like, yeah, let's do it. And then there's just this wall, like, can't do it.
Okay. So that would be the part you'd want to get to know, is the can't do it part?
Yeah. Great. I mean, I'm okay with it if where I land is like, okay, can't do it. But it just feels, it's so rigid. Like, I will be about to pick up the phone and be like, okay, I'm going to call this person and see if, I can offer something there. And I'm like, can't do it. So I'd just like to have a conversation with it.
Great.
And I can already feel that it's going to be way more emotional than I thought it would be, but I don't know why I ever think that because of who I am.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have big emotions, because
it certainly is.
That's progress.
And if at any time they feel overwhelming, you can ask them for space.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So when the no wall comes up, where do you notice it in your body?
Every time I do anything around that is emotional in any way, I feel something in my throat, but I don't think that's where this lives. I think that's just kind of how it is. I want to say it comes from my gut, and it's interesting because right before I got on the call, there's a part of me that's like TMI, but I'm having like some really bad like cramps that just they like kicked up a little bit right before I got on this call. So that's interesting. But yeah, it feels like it comes from my gut. It's like that's where the no like hangs out.
Okay. All right. And how are you feeling towards it as you notice it?
I feel surprised by how much is already like kind of how much I'm feeling physically around it. Like right after I said to you, the last thing I said before you asked your next question, my jaw started clenching up. I feel a little, in a weird way, like intimidated by it. Like it seems very forceful.
Yeah. It sounds like it has been. If it's a hard wall and it's stopping you from making more informed decisions or leading. Yeah. Okay. See if you can turn to that intimidated part.
The part that's intimidated by the wall part. Okay.
Yeah. And just let it know that we just want to learn about parts.
Okay. Something did soften. Yeah. Something in my throat just kind of like unclenched a little.
Yeah, just check in with the intimidated part. See if it would be okay with letting you just learn about the no wall.
I'm just like telling it it's okay to be scared, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be involved either. It can go be in another room and.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's, I'm not yet neutral. It's like, there's also a part of me that's like, yeah, like I get it. And screw that, like an affinity sort of feeling of like,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if that's the part, kind of blending and saying, yeah,
screw that.
I need to do what I do. And
I think so.
Why are we asking questions?
Right. It's like, yeah, we decided this. It's cool. Everything's fine. Tell this guy you need to get off the phone now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like you said, that
crafty.
very well may be the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly don't have any opinions or judgments about your decision. So
yeah,
you could just ask this part to unblend, give you space so that you can get to know it, so that you can understand it, and so that it doesn't have to work so rigidly if it's interested in that.
And it's very resisty about that. It's like, no, it's very fiercely protective.
Yeah. Okay. You're feeling curious about what it's protecting?
I'm trying to get it and I to have space. Like that I'm trying to not be it, if you get my drift.
Mm-hmm.
There's some feeling like around my eyebrows. This is the most like physical response I've really had from a part thus far.
Yeah.
While doing the work, I sometimes later get, like, I worked with a part once that wanted me to run and do all this stuff, and I did it. But like in the actual piece of work, I've not had so many physical sensations before.
Yeah.
Like eyebrows, jaw, throat, cramps.
Yeah. So you can let it know that you're really picking all that up.
Feeling,
you're really feeling it. You get how strong it is and how, and you respect that. It's a respectful force. Just let it know you're curious about, why it's working so hard and what else you can do to understand it.
The first answer that comes is like, I'm working so hard because fuck that. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't tell me as much as I need to know.
No, but if that's its answer, then
it's just like, I'm working so hard because that was a fucked up ride that I went on for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah.
That I felt woven in with this person.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I've done a lot of work around it, but apparently this piece is holding whatever's left of a whole lot of feelings.
Yeah.
There's like a part of it, I don't know if it's the same part or not. It's like, there's this feeling of, and I know that I can't like go out into the world and, shout from the rooftops or anything, but there's a piece of it that's like, that it's sort of like my duty to other people not to in any way promote this person, even though what I'm discussing is not is not doing that really. It's not like presenting a thing in the same building. It's not promotion, but it's like, no, you are separate now, and that's how you should remain. No matter like what you have to refuse to be a part of, or, no matter if, like other associations have to be a little bit further away. Like that's what its message is like, you have to remain completely separate from this person.
So it really cares about your duty to others and the way that people receive your work and how it affects them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow like this idea that there's like, that when you're associated with others, you're like inadvertently vouching for them.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Me too. Part's been working really hard.
Yeah. I'm getting the feeling that that a lot of like discomfort in my body comes from this part's work.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that. I'm like having these like trembling little like moments as though it were cold in here, and it's not. It's like kind of trying to clamp down, it feels like almost.
Okay. If it feels like too much, we can take a step back.
It doesn't.
Okay,
but
great.
It feels like surprisingly forceful.
Yeah.
Fierce. Fierce is the word that keeps coming, like, which is not a word that I dislike, really.
It's a fun word.
Yeah. But it does feel like that. It's like, furrowed brow, clenched fist.
Yeah.
Hard jaw. Yeah. And like a trembling.
So this part's worked hard to look out for all of this.
Yeah.
How long has it been in that role? Did it need to do that before this specific?
I think that what it would say is I should have been like, the part is like, well, I should have been doing that before this, but I don't get a sense that it was.
Okay, let me see if I understand. So it's saying it kind of wishes it was more active even before, because that would have maybe kept you out of the situation.
Kept me out of this situation and some others.
Yeah. Some others in that past time frame. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 And how does it like doing its job?
Let me settle myself and try to get in a conversational space again. I'm just having like a lot of these like clenches and stuff.
Do those feel like they're coming from the part, or are they coming from other parts saying, "Oh, we shouldn't go here"?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure on that one. It just like the sense that I'm getting is that I'm being overtaken by this kind of forcefulness or fierceness. But it could be, I guess, others kind of trying to intervene. It's just like, like a person who just is just hard and rigid. Like, that's what I keep feeling like I'm clenching up like a person like that, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So I think it is the part.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I think it is the part. does it like its job is what I'm supposed to be asking if I can get back there. I need to just get a little bit of space from it. Okay, I'm feeling a little more peaceful physically at this moment. It says it doesn't matter if it likes its job. It's like it doesn't matter.
It's very tough.
Like it. Yeah,
right.
It's just yeah.
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 And how does it like the way in which it's had to get your attention, with so much energy and rigidity? I mean, has that been hard for it?
Yeah, it's hard work, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, overworked and underpaid kind of feeling like, oh,
Sounds like it.
I know, but, this is what I have to do kind of thing.
Yeah. I wonder if it's feeling overworked and underappreciated.
I think, I think I do appreciate it. Let me stop thinking what I think and ask. It says it doesn't feel like I don't appreciate it. It just doesn't appreciate when I consider doing something that isn't what it's set to do. Yeah, it's just like, it gets that I appreciate it, but I don't need to be like,
entertaining other options.
Yeah.
Listening to other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
And what's it afraid will happen if and when you don't?
Like if I do something that's not what it tells me to do?
Yeah.
It's something like about, it's like something to the degree, something in the realm of integrity, like that. Yeah, it's just kind of like the attitude is just, we decided this and you can't go back. No takey backies.
Yeah. I'm curious kind of more about that. What's painful about that? What if you take back?
It's like, if you do that, then you're somehow sending a message that it's okay how this person,
Right. We heard about the vouching for them.
Yeah. It's like, you can't. It's very unyielding.
Stop me if I'm being annoying, but what would be bad about that?
You're not being annoying. It's just like, you're not being annoying to me. Maybe the part thinks so, but it probably thinks I'm annoying too. So what did you ask again?
So I'll ask it, and I don't mean it as a criticism of its decisions. I'm genuinely looking for the feelings that come up if you were to, for example, vouch for this person.
I'm kind of turning up the volume on the question and saying like, what if I was like totally all publicly kumbaya, or, what if that happened? It's integrity again. It's just like, what I'm getting is just like people like will gather more, like followers is a strong word, but not really. And that they will later end up having 10 years of regrets too, Not that an entire 10 years is a regret, but it's like other people will, follow that Pied Piper.
Okay. Yeah.
Not that, in my rational mind, I don't really think that this decision has that much bearing on that. That's going to probably happen no matter. There are going to be people that get swept up into a person's sphere, whether I am doing whatever I'm doing or not.
Mm-hmm. That all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
To have that care for other people. And the reason I was asking so much about it was just looking for, if there are parts in you that are hurt by that. I hear that hurt for others. And, I was just looking for, is there a part in you that it's protecting specifically?
I think that the kid from last time is a piece of it, but not all. Yeah, there's definitely like behind her, the steely one, the clinchy jaw one, there's just like the parts of me that the two images that come up simultaneously is like getting dragged, like the part of me that got dragged behind the car or trampled in some way, like just by this person's willfulness and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like there's a part in you that was vulnerable to that and then experienced that pain of being dragged and trampled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we already kind of did this step also, but how about that appreciation for this part? Is it receiving that from you? And can you connect it to how it's protected you in this way specifically?
Okay. I'm always having to like run interference on multiple voices, trying to come up into the space. So I'm trying to get just me and her. I toggle between wanting to call it and it her. it's not the most feminine part in the world, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that masculine.
You could ask it what it wants to be called.
It doesn't care on that.
All right. Great.
Surprise. It doesn't care. So I'm showing appreciation. I kind of like tried to like take its hands and say thank you, and I was like, come on now, like don't.
I appreciate this part for being so patient with us
Yeah.
while we're trying so many things to, and some of it clumsily, which I'll take full responsibility for. Those questions and such.
I don't think that's you. I just have some stubborn parts, I guess.
So if this part didn't have to work so hard,
Mm-hmm.
what would it rather be doing with its energy?
I almost feel bad for how like stubborn the answers are, but it's like I don't have to work so hard when you're not considering doing things that I told you that. It's like, I could go and sit down and chill out if you would stop like bringing this question up over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, but me and the
it.
question of the situation.
Yeah.
Like I don't have, it's like, I don't have to work hard if you just
listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could kind of reframe that as more focusing on how hard it works in communicating with you. So let's say that you're totally on board with its decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's just say that's already done. You're doing what it wants.
Mm-hmm.
What would look different for this part? And what would it rather be doing if it could communicate with you more easily and without all the intensity?
Okay. So like basically the question is if I agree on this particular thing.
Yeah.
Then how could our communication be better?
Yeah. What could the relationship look like? Kind of.
Okay.
Because, I think of all parts, they're with us kind of permanently, independent of the situation. So I'm just thinking, I'm just kind of imagining this situation is behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Done deal. This part got its way.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like in the future if when there's another situation, if this part is able to communicate with you easier?
It's just saying like trust your gut, and then shows me a few other like relationships where I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And those were the ones like that I mentioned earlier that were previous to this one.
Okay.
I guess maybe it kind of is saying like I was quiet then and you didn't listen.
Right. Yeah.
So, so maybe I can just set it an intention with it that like I'll listen more to those kind of, that's what's coming up to me, like occurring to me to do.
Mm-hmm. And when it thinks about previous relationships or previous situations, is there an earliest one that comes up?
Yeah, my shitty high school boyfriend is I think the first, the earliest that it showed me.
Yeah.
There was another one in between that was sort of a mentor that went awry. Mm-hmm. But it showed me that, and then it showed me this crappy relationship.
So with the shitty high school boyfriend, this part was there and aware, but it was quiet.
Well, it was there and it was like, yo, don't do that. But not loud, not taking over in the way that it feels when I'm talking to you tonight at times. So yeah, that's what it's showing me. It's like, look at this.
Yeah.
Then look at this 10-year thing.
Right.
So
it's getting louder and louder.
Yeah.
If it's not able to get your attention or get the response that it needs.
Yeah. So I guess I need to kind of prove myself in a way, like that I can listen without being yelled at.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think that's what is meant by self-leadership. It's listening to parts and taking them seriously and using their wisdom to guide us without the yelling.
Yeah.
How old does this part think that you are?
When I do this question, sometimes I feel like my part, it's just kind of funny. They're like, I'm not going to make myself look stupid here. I know what you're doing, kind of. Like, I know how old you technically are.
Yeah.
But,
it does.
You don't always act like it, is what it's saying.
Yeah. How old is it?
It's like, I'm not going to tell you that you're 15 or whatever.
How old does it think that you act?
Let me ask that. 12.
Okay.
12.
Okay. And is there some significance around 12? Is there a reason? Something that it has to show you around that time?
Not that I can catch. And I first wanted to answer like the age that I was when I got into that relationship. And I don't know if maybe, like when you tell somebody like jokingly, like you're acting like a 12-year-old, I don't know if it's kind of just ribbing me. They're wily, these parts, some of them.
Yeah.
They like have a really, I feel like my parts have like a really twisted sort of sense of humor. I don't know. I can't recall anything that stands out to me at the age of 12, but my memory is, not my most reliable part. I'll tell you that.
Okay. I could throw out a hypothesis and you could check it with this part.
Okay.
This part is concerned about the relationships you get in. And I'm wondering if around age 12 is when maybe you started making more heavier decisions around relationships. I'm just thinking about my own life and, up until then, it's just, these are the kids in class with me. And it's, it's kind of not a lot of
it's not a choice as much
calculating going on. And then getting older, puberty, bigger decisions, bigger schools.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
You can check it out with the part, just see if if it has any resonance there.
Yeah. What I get from the part is like a good natured eye roll. And like, yeah, that's when you started being dramatic, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You got that one, I think.
Dramatic.
Yeah. Or, just sort of influenceable, internally dramatic. Yeah. It's like you said, it's kind of like the blossoming of the sort of social, a different feeling around socializing and trying to, be some type of person instead of just, like when you're a kid,
and attract some type of people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good hypothesis.
The influencing.
Yeah. Being influenced.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
How are you feeling towards this part now?
I find it very amusing. I enjoy good-natured ribbing, and I feel like this part's kind of got my number, to be honest. As far as the way that I've behaved, and it's got some good points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I understand
really patient.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, you can reveal to it your real age.
Okay.
And also you could ask it about, the hypothesis. If you were able to find and help out any of these other parts that may be younger, that may feel like they were trampled and dragged around, would it be interested in that? Would that help? Would that help in the rigidity and the intensity of the relationship between you two? If you could help out some of those other parts, if they're in there.
She says, or whatever, says, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. Just sort of a little bit dismissive, but not like in an angry way.
Mm-hmm. Would she trust you to go looking and to help out with those parts?
I'm already seeing some pieces of it. So I guess so. Yeah. I'm seeing some, I don't know if I was 12 or 13, but like my very first boyfriend ever, or at least, like the first one that I had any physical contact with in any real way. Like sometimes feeling like that contact was going farther than I wanted it to, and feeling very just like apprehensive about like speaking that, or having this fear of being rejected if I didn't want to do whatever he wanted to do. So that makes sense about like getting dragged or getting dragged. Yeah.
Getting dragged or getting rejected.
Yeah. Or trampled, like having your own will sort of stepped on. Yeah. So maybe 12 is accurate. Maybe if we would do a hypothesis to arrive at that memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Just one more piece of wisdom from this protective part to be able to show you that.
Yeah.
And for us to learn about the dimensions of this protector. It's when we meet it, it's this 2-dimensional feeling, right? It's a wall. It's just a wall. And it's like, it's been around through this and that and this.
Yeah.
It has these qualities, these powers. It's got a sense of humor.
I really never would have tied this, former business partner to, and now that I've mentioned what I just did about being 12 years old, like now it's showing me other instances where where I went along with things that were physical that I didn't enjoy or want to do, I never would have put those two things in the same room,
Yeah. Yeah.
But they both really tie into the notion of getting dragged, or getting trampled. Like, yeah, like bending to the will of an outside force, in this case, or in all of these cases, being a person and what they want.
Right. Well.
Whew, okay.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not gonna suggest that we go to that part in this conversation, but you could maybe just send it, a flare, send it just a note that you see it and that we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that this wall part needs from you going forward?
Just says listen.
Yeah.
It's just like listen, and then it's like fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them. That's the message. That's the wisdom.
Yeah. Maybe it's wanting to be able to express that. Maybe there's a way that could be achieved or expressed.
Yeah.
But the listening is, when you hear it say that, does that feel like, okay, I know how to do that? Or is that earlier it sounded like you were a little unsure, like, well, I guess I'll listen better.
Well, what I definitely feel is a complete desire to listen.
Yeah.
Do I have 100% confidence that I'll always hear?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to hear in order to listen, right?
I think so.
I'm being semantic perhaps, but what I mean is like that I'll know that the message is coming.
Yeah.
And heed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have 100% confidence, but I have 85% confidence.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I have 100% desire.
Great.
That's 80
pretty
to
optimistic, I would say. That's great. We can work with that.
Yeah.
Maybe another thing you could offer this part, if it's interested, is you could, if it's the no part, maybe you could work with the yes part too. Like maybe that's the dynamic, the part that's saying,
the other part that's saying do that, to do
right.
what it's saying no to.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you get blended with when you're unable to hear this part.
Okay.
Another hypothesis.
Well, that's a good one. I don't feel that the yes part about what we started talking about is the same yes part that quietly goes along with like physical interactions that I don't, I think that's a different piece.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's definitely a part that is trying to talk me into the thing that we were talking about at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes it sounds like a very logical, well thought out part. So yeah, I probably should like check in on that too at some point. But for now, this part is saying no. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I would like for it to be open to revisitation of that, question if I, but I'm willing to table it for sure.
Right.
I'm willing to table that, notion. I got plenty of other shit to do anyway.
Right.
Besides what I was talking about, doing a thing at a place or whatever. Like I got plenty of things to do at plenty of places. And, the fact that this conversation gave me a whole bunch of interesting things to work on and also did not change the answer. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I guess I can. Okay, I don't like it when I start with I guess. I think what I can commit to at this moment is to say that I will check in with you again before changing that decision.
Yeah. How's it like that?
It's like, yeah, let's go take a bath now. Like, it's like, that's great.
Awesome.
We're done here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's kind of like, when you wipe your hands, like, whew, alrighty then, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah, we didn't try to convince it to do anything differently.
Yeah. And it's appreciative of that.
Great. Well, hopefully that makes it easier to listen and communicate in the future with it.
It does. Like I said, I didn't think that those other things had anything to do with this. And the fact that that those other things came up in this conversation, I'm much more interested in working on that stuff than I am in like changing this decision.
Right.
So yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, it's gave me something bigger and deeper to play with. So that's way more important. Great.
Cool. Well, I'd love to help you out with that. And if you're not on my calendar, I know it's been full lately. I'll find some time for you.
Okay. I think this was my last one that I had scheduled, but I'd love to schedule some more.
Yes.
And just one thing I want to throw out there. You're doing very good work and you're not asking for any payment. So if there's ever like a charitable cause or anything that you feel strongly about, I would be happy to make a donation.
Okay. Well, thank you for that offer.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'll table that.
Okay.
Have a wonderful night.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks to all your parts.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate them too. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.